going down like that, right? The must love, respect, and trust only us. We gotta trust only Esau. Imagine that. What an abominable thing. We only gotta trust Esau. We ain't gotta trust in the Most High. That's what they're saying. Gentlemen, these kids are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and your children use them. There we go. So that's what they teach the children, right? That's what they teach the children. It's like a sister was telling me, a sister from Ghana, she was telling me one of our people working in one of these, I'll say, kindergarten, right? And one of these Edomite kids was telling the sister that working there, he said, oh, don't get closer to me, you smell. You smell. Imagine, young kid, who taught him? Barely is like maybe 4 or 5 years old or 6 years. Nay, who taught him that? Who told him that we smell that? Who put that in his mind? It's his father. That's what we're reading right here. So the sister told me that. I was shaking my head. I'm like, woof. You know, but the sister, she can't do anything. Yeah, that's evil, bro. Imagine, that's evil, bro. Listen, she have said that to me somewhere outside of America. Woof. Man, I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to whip him nicely or her nicely. Man, you tell my mother, my sister that they stink. Unbelievable. Young, like kindergarten. Imagine that, bro. Imagine that. Imagine that, King. That's unacceptable. Right? He said, watch it. He said, gentlemen, these kids are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. And that's what they do. That's what Esau does. Hey, listen, isn't it? That's what they say we were. 3/5 of them. We don't have value. We don't mean anything before them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for 1 year, imagine that. Okay? He said the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. And that's what we have right now. Until thou be destroyed. Let's go to Genesis. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou be destroyed. Let's go read it. Let's go read it. Let's go read it. So, because this is a Bible prophecy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Let's go over there and let's see what the Most High said. And these people are people, man. Right, let's read it. Okay. There we go, man. Hey. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou be destroyed. Right? Let me get it from another Bible quick. Right. This is the book of Deuteronomy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. Let's read it. I mean, like, the Most High, listen, he nailed it. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh, he nailed it. Right? Let's read it. So, this is unbelievable. This is the book of Genesis. Deuteronomy 28. Let me read a couple of verses. I want to read a couple of verses. Okay? All right. Let's just read this. Okay? I just don't want to read just one. Let me go straight to the point. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. You see? So what did this heathen say in this article that we're reading right now, that we're going through? What did he say? What did he just said to the other Edomite? He said what? He said, if used intensively for 1 year, it's only 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Boom. There we go. There we go. They'll remain. They don't need to do any work. He said, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord, Yahweh, thy God, thy power, to keep his commandment, his statutes, which he command thee, and there shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. That's why we go through what we go through. Because the curses are to identify who are the nation of Israel, who are the Israelites, who are the real Jew. Not the liar, not the synagogue of Satan. No. Right? He said, there shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of mind, of heart, for the abundance of all things. So everything belongs to the Most High. Okay, therefore shall thy serve thine enemy. There we go. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shall thou serve thine enemy, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst. Right? So if you need to drink anything, you need your water, you need your juice, you need your wine, you need your whiskey. For example, for the Passover, well, this past Passover or this last Passover we just celebrated, right? We just celebrated like a month ago or more than a month ago. Where did we buy where did we get the wine from? We got it from Esau, Edom. That's what the Mosai say. Do we make the wine today? We don't make the wine anymore. Right? Exactly. The Lord gave them that wisdom to destroy us mentally, right on point. Exactly. Like mentally. Mentally, as you say, bro. Right on point. Right? He said, well, and in the one of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Okay? Until he have destroyed thee. Who? Esau, Edom. Until he have destroyed thee. Who? The enemy. Who is the enemy? Esau, Edom. Okay? Esau, Edom. Until he have destroyed thee. Understand that. This is a basic breakdown. Let's finish up this article, because I got another one, right? That one's done. Let me bring up a precept, right? So that we give glory unto the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. Let's go right here. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10, right? And we're going to read verses 1 through 2. This is the book of Isaiah, right? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 through 2. He said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree. So you slay somebody, you kill somebody, and you say that you got to go to a trial. You already killed the person. What trial are you going to? You shoot somebody 4 times, then you say you rush them to the hospital. You already killed the brother, then you put him on your wicked truck, your fire truck, making as if like you care. You don't care, because if you care first place, you should shoot her. You went over there, you're supposed to be de-escalating the situation. De-escalating everything, not shoot. He said, well, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. What did they do? All they take is violence. You turn off. Listen, most murder done by the police in the USA is justified. It's all justified. You can Google, go look it up. It's all justified. They kill you, ain't no problem about it. They can justify. They're always talking about investigation. So, but they never goes in the Bible. What investigation are you doing that you don't go in the Bible? What investigation that you don't refer to the Most High? You don't bless the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai. You don't give glory, honor, power unto the Most High. Because the scripture say when you go to Isaiah 8:20, he say, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there's no light in them. You ain't got no light. You're in the darkness. So Babylon the Great, America is in the full darkness. They don't know what's going on. They don't know the Most High. They always accuse other government, other country of murdering their own people. They accuse this. They accuse this guy. They accuse it. Guess what? Just 2 days ago, they accused Putin of his trying to kill Navalny, okay, one of his dissident, one of his opponent, right? Guess what? But they kill our people every day. Who is accusing them? Have you seen Russia come out accusing them? No. The first time I see was China, like a month or 2 months ago, where China was telling them they need to shut the heck up. China told them they need to shut the heck up. Why? He said, you've been murdering and killing black people for all this time. Yes. You can Google that. I did a nice video on it. When I expose it, it's still on Facebook, because some of my video, I don't delete it. I leave it there. Literally this Moabite literally told them, like, listen, shut your mouth up, America. You can't tell us nothing, because you've been slaying and murdering this many black people all this time. Yes, China told them that. When they met, it was in Alaska or somewhere. The prime minister of the secretary of Foreign Affairs of China, he rebuked them, he put them into check. They killing our people every day. But when they kill our people, it's justified. Yes, she was holding a knife. Oh, she got a drug in his mouth. Oh, yeah, that's why they put him on the chokehold. Listen. Listen, remember, it is a state law that police use deadly force. Understand that. So raise up your children to fear the Most High, to keep the commandment. When they see this police, to relax, chill out, don't do evil. Make sure you tell your children they shouldn't be watching any movie. Because the movie, what do they show you? And we're going to address it. Verse 2, he say, to turn aside the needy from judgment. They turn us from judgment. That's why you see all your lawyers, they in suit and tie, dragging like long trolley or like stroller in a court, acting like a bunch of paper in their hand. Man, weakness. Weakness. They don't have the Bible in the suitcase. Do you see any one of them pulling out the Bible? Show me one of your lawyers when you go to your court. That pull out from the bag or from the suitcase or whatsoever they carry off from. Show me one that pull out the Bible and go in the Bible and give glory, thanks, power be unto the Most High. Show me. Even Paul here addressed it. He said, one of you, if you have problem with your brother, do you go to the unrighteous? Do you go to the heathen that don't know the law? Do you go to the court with them? No, you don't want to do that. Because they don't know the law of the Most High. They don't have justice. The Most High did not give them judgment. The Most High gave it to us. That's when you go in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and you read it. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and read verse 1 all the way down through 8 or 9 or 10. Read it. Then you get understanding. Justice, righteousness was given to us. That's why we got the book of the Judges. Understand that? And stop lunching. That's why we got the book of the Judges. The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native. We are the judges. We are the real judges of the earth. We are the real judges on this earth. Understand that? He said to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. What did they do? They had taken away from the poor of the people of the Most High. Who? The so-called blacks, Latino, and Native. Okay? George Floyd, the young sister holding the knife that got killed yesterday with 4 bullets. And the list goes on and on and on. Right? That widow may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And that's what they do. The young brother they killed in Minnesota, I think. Was it in Minnesota last week? Over having air freshener hanging to his mirror. Like nothing. Let's go right here. Isaiah 55. We'll stay in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 55. Right. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 55. We'll read verses 8 through 13. Right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and verses 8 through 13. Let's read it. It says, for my thought are not your thought. So the judgment or the trial that Esau did, that's not the will of the Most High. I mean, that's the will of the Most High, but that's not the thought of the Most High. That's not the thought of the Most High. The Most High is all about justice, judgment. Now, was that the will of the Most High? Yes, the Most High wanted to go down that way, point blank period. Has the Most High done his judgment yet? No. The judgment of the Most High will be coming soon, sooner or later. Okay? Understand that. The judgment of the Most High will be coming soon or later. Wait, you shall see. Upon every one of them involved, from the police, all the police involved, the lawyer, whoever is involved, anyone who trying to hide it, listen, anyone that testify, all this, listen, the judgment, they're all going to receive the punishment. The judgment of the Most High just want them to do more wickedness so the Most High can strike them. You see, the Most High want them to do more evil so he can strike them. Because when the Most High strike you, and nobody can save you. Okay? No lawyer can save you. CIA can save you. The FBI cannot save you. The SWAT team, they won't be able to save you. None of those things, they won't save you. Okay? Your mama won't be able to save you. Okay? The Pharaoh Joe Biden won't be able to save you. The Pharaoh Donald Trump won't be able to save you neither. Okay? So keep in mind. Let's read it. He said, well, let me read it to you so you can sink into it. He said, for my thought are not your thought. So the thought of Esau going through the trial, all this wickedness, that's not the thought of the Most High. Not at all. He said, for your thought are not what my thoughts. Right? There we go. Neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord. So the ways of Esau are not the way of the Most High. The ways of Esau are not the way of the Most High. The Most High is not a murderer. Okay? The Most High is not a liar. Understand that? The Most High did not tell her to worship idol. Who told you to worship idol? Esau Edom. Who told you to bow down to Caesar Borgia? Is Esau Edom. The Most High never commanded to bow down to Caesar Borgia. No. Let's see. He said, for as the heaven are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your way. So the way of the Most High is higher than the way of Esau. The way of the Most High is higher than the way of Esau. Understand that? And my thought than your thought. So, what are you looking for? Okay? So understand that. Your weakness, the Most High is not with it. Let's go to Isaiah 59. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 9 through 11. Isaiah 59, 9 through 11. It said, therefore is judgment far from us. Judgment is far from our people. It's far from our people. Before we even address this heathen. Okay? He said, well, for judgment, let's read, say, for judgment, there we go. Therefore is judgment far from us. Neither does justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, darkness. Darkness all over this land. Darkness will take hold of Babylon the Great. Why about the ball, man? He said, well, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. You say we grope for the wall like the blind. Okay. You go to Deuteronomy 28, 29, it's written there. Because we don't do justice, we don't do righteousness. We groping like the blind. Like you go like this. What is the wall? And you go like you try and find out something to hold on. You see, that's what you see in this kingdom. That's what you see in this kingdom. Weakness. There's no righteousness. No. Weakness, all of it. He said we grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we have no eyes. Deuteronomy 28, 29, Job 5, 14, Amos 8 and 9. We say we stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in the desolate places as dead men. Israel, so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. That's the state in which we're living in right now. That's the state in which we are living in right now. Let's go to Deuteronomy 27 and verse 19. Deuteronomy 27 and 19. Bear with me. Deuteronomy 27 and 19, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27 and verses 19. Deuteronomy 27 and verses 19. It says, cursed be he that perverted the judgment. So Esau is cursed, man. They kept on perverting the judgment, talking about they're going to do an investigation on police misconduct. Is that now that you knew that? You knew this thing. Who paid the police? Who gave them the uniform? Who gave them the gun? Who gave them the free computer, free car, free gas, everything? They're making money. They're all making money. It's all business. They're making money for the government. Let's read. He said, cursed be he that perverted the judgment of the stranger. Cursed be he that perverted the judgment of the stranger, fatherless and widow, and all the people shall say amen. So you are a cursed Esau Edom. Understand that. Amen, hallelujah. Blessed be the Most High. He said it all like that. You be a curse. The vile, the wicked on the earth. Let's go in the book of Lamentation, chapter 3, verse 35. Right after Lamentation is written by Jeremiah, if you don't know it. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah. He wrote Lamentation in 3 and verse 35. Lamentation 3:35. Let's go over there and we'll bring it out. This is a book of Lamentation. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 35. Let's read it. And it reads, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approved not. So the Most High is not with it. You did it because you wicked, because Satan, your father can command you to do so, and you did it, and you did it, and you do it, and you always gonna do. Esau is not gonna change. If you think that Esau is going to change anytime soon, you're wasting your time. Okay? If is that what you believe in, you're wasting your time. Esau is not changing anytime. Actually, he'll kill more people. As we draw nigh the end, Esau, this Edomite, this heathen, they're gonna kill more people. There'll be more bloodshed in Babylon the Great. This is Babylon the Great. So if you believe that There will be change. There won't be no change. Regardless who is in the office, regardless who you put in the White House or spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, regardless what you put in Babylon the Great, the daughter of the Chaldee. Listen, it doesn't matter who you put in your so-called White House. It does not matter. Okay? It does not matter. The judgment is going to come. There'll be more bloodshed. There'll be more evil in this kingdom. Okay? Understand that. Let's go in the book of Hosea. Let's go to Hosea chapter 10 and verse 4. This is the book of Hosea chapter 10 and verse 4. Let's go over there. This is the book of Hosea chapter 10 and verse 4. It said, they are spoken word, swearing falsely in making a covenant. What do? They'll raise up their hand and say, oh, I swear, blah, blah, blah. Weakness. Thou shalt not swear. Amashiach, he made it clear. Who are you to swear? Do you know if you're going to wake up tomorrow? Do you know if there be demon that be led on you? Who are you to swear? Don't ever swear. That's why I can hold no job in this kingdom. No type of job. Those type of job. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. When you want me to swear, I'm not swearing because of your weakness, your money. No. I'd rather get another job where I don't have to swear. Yeah. I'd rather humble myself. Why do I swear? Who am I to swear? Our Lord and Savior who know more than us. Yahweh Mashiach. His father told him, tell them no more swearing. That was he said, no more swearing. Because you are not the Most High. You ain't got no might, no power over any spirit. You can't do a damn thing. Only the Most High have the might to control the spirit, to stop them to do this and do that. It's the Most High. You can't do anything. So you shouldn't be swearing. You're swearing, you're already going against the Most High. You're breaking the commandment of the Most High. You can't swear. That's why the Most High said 2/3 of our people got to go. That's why the Most High said that. Let me read it again. They are spoken words, swearing falsely in making a covenant. Thus judgment springing up as a hemlock in the furrow of the field. There we go. There we go. Let's go to the book of Amos. Let's go to Amos 3 and 10. Let's go over there. There's the book of Amos chapter 3 and verses 10. Let's read it. For they know not to do right. Who? Our people as a nation. Before we address the wicked, this Edomite, he said, well, for they know not to do right, said the Lord Yahweh, who stir up violence and robbery in their palaces. Who? Our nation. But this is a judgment from the Most High against this heathen, against these people, against the wicked of our people. This is a promise of Yahweh judgment. This is a judgment from the Most High. Because there's no justice in the land. There's no truth, none. It's all weakness that you see. Let me read it again. It said, for they know not to do right, said the Lord, who stir up violence and robbery in their palaces. Therefore thou said the Lord Yahweh, an adversary there shall even round about the land, and he shall bring down thy strength from thee, and thy palaces shall be spoiled. So keep in mind, the Most High ain't playing no game. This is the book of Amos chapter 5 and verse 7. Amos 5 and 7. Let's read it. It said, ye turn judgment to wormwood, and live up righteousness in the earth. That's what you see. That's what you see. Talking about the trial, that blah, blah, blah. That may, quiet. Quiet. This is the book of Amos, chapter 6 and verses 12. Amos 6 and 12. We'll read 12 through 14. It says, shall horses run up on the rock? Will one plow there with oxen? For ye have turned judgment into gall. And that's what you see. That's what you see in Babylon the Great. They turn the judgment into gall. Okay? And the fruit of righteousness into hemlock. Ye which rejoice in a thing of not, weakness. You slay somebody, then you put a person in the ambulance as if you care about the person. So if you care in first place, you should have shot the person. Okay? You should have shot the person. Understand that. That's common sense. Don't fool anybody. Don't come on the TV lying. Blah, blah, the officer said, he didn't say any life. Because they even support the sister kill. If the sister killed one of them, okay, then he went over there, all right? Maybe the sister, she was not intending to kill him. Maybe she was just frustrated, mad, trying to, defend herself over something. Or maybe she was bullied. Who knows what is the issue? Only the Most High know. Only the Most High know. Then guess what? Then you try to save one life, then you destroy another life. How do you do that? How you do that? What type of righteous person do that? You kill somebody like that instead of bringing up peace. instead of making up peace. Let's read the Amos 6:12. It says, shall horses run up on the rock? Will one plow there with oxen? For ye have turned judgment into gall, and the fruit of righteousness into hemlock. Ye which rejoice in a thing of naught, which say, have we not taken to us horn by our own strength? But behold, I'll raise up against you a nation, O house of Israel. And that's what we are dealing with right now. The Most High is sending Israel against us. As the brother posted early, he's a whooping stick of the Most High. Esau, Edom. But behold, I'll raise up against you a nation. Deuteronomy 28. O house of Israel. Who? House of Israel. He didn't say Christian. He didn't say all Christian. No, all house of Israel. The so-called blacks, Latino, and Native, according to your father. According to your father. He said the Lord, the Yahweh of hosts, and they shall afflict you from the entering, and that's what's going on. The family just being afflicted. The family of all these deceased brother, the brother that were murdered, slain, accused wrongfully, incarcerated wrongfully. They're over. Listen, I was checking this documentary yesterday. From the PBS News. They say just in the USA, no, in Philadelphia, they say more than 33% of the people that are incarcerated with no crime. They're just being labeled, accused. They didn't accuse them of any. 33% just in Philly. Why? Because you got a heavy community of Judah, Benjamin, Levi right there. You got a heavy community of Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And that's why we tell you, brother and sister, keep this thing, man. This is beautiful. This is life right here, bro. This is life right here, sis. The love of the Most High, the keeping of the commandment. The Most High will forgive you. The Most High will forgive you. He said, but behold, I'll raise up against you a nation, O house of Israel, said the Lord, the Yahweh of hosts, and they shall afflict you from the entering in of Hamath unto the river of the wilderness. And that's what we're going through right now. That's what we're going through. Let's go in the book of Habakkuk. Okay? Let's go in the book of Habakkuk. Let's go to Micah 7 first. Let's go to Micah chapter 7. We'll read verses 1 through 3. This is the book of Micah. Micah chapter 7 and verses 1 through 3. Let's read it. What is me? For I am as when they have gathered the summer fruit, as the grape leaning of the vintage. There is no cluster to eat. My soul desire the first fruit, the first ripe fruit. The good man is perished out of the earth. And that was you see. And there's none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. What is Esau lying in wait for? Blood. What is the police lying in wait for? Blood. What is the U.S. government lying in wait for? Blood. The CIA, and you name it. What are they lying wait? What is Esau lying waiting for in Africa? In all this blood. Let's read it. It said, the good man is perished out of the earth. What are we living in? We're living on the earth. And there is none upright among men. They are wicked. It's your weakness, teaching doctrine of devil, doctrine of men, demons, legion of demons all over the places. Uncontrollable. Right? And there's none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net. Imagine. Imagine. Let's go in the book of Habakkuk, right? Chapter 1. Let's go over there in verse 4. This is the book of Habakkuk, right? Let's just read from verses 1 all the way down through 4, right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, and verse 1 through 4. He said, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Lord, how long shall I cry? And thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. So, there are people crying to the Most High. They're saying that they go to worship the sun on a Sunday. The Most High ain't listening because the Most High is not with it. Because the spirit we're dealing with is off. Those spirits are not of the Most High. Right? Let me show you something. You see right here? This article right here? Check it out. Okay? This article right here. Okay? Bear with me. I just want to show it to my audiences too. Here. You see that? Okay? Okay? You say what? A history of tolerance for violence has laid the groundwork for injustice today. Today, where? In Babylon the Great. in America, right? We won't read the whole thing, all right? We won't read the whole thing, okay? I'm just gonna address, he said, black people, pretty much, that's what he's saying, okay? He said, we are living in America's era of mass incarceration, okay? Right? Of mass incarceration with just 5% of the world's population. America alone, just America alone, the United States alone, made up only 5% of the world population. However, they got the number one high mass incarceration. Why? Because this is Babylon. This is the land of confusion. This is the land of weakness. This is the whole. This is the whole. This is the most wicked and vile kingdom on earth since the beginning of the world until this very last day. Right? Let's read it. He said what? He said, we are living in America era of mass incarceration with just 5% of the world's population. They only got only 5%. Let's see how much a prisoner they have. Let's see. Okay. He said, this nation holds 25% of the world prisoner. Imagine that. That's way too heavy. But they will sit here and accuse Vladimir Putin. They're going to accuse this. They're going to accuse Nigeria. They're going to accuse Myanmar. They're going to accuse Maduro. Man, come on, man. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. You wicked. Point blank, period. Okay? He said, and many more people, right, impact by its crime policy. The policy was set up by Esau Edom. He already told you. My goal is to destroy you. Let us cut them off from being a nation. More than 2.1 million Americans are incarcerated in jail and prisons, up from less than 200,000, right? No, 200,000 in 1972, while over 4.6 million more are on probation or parole. These numbers are fairless or faceless. African Americans make up about 13% of the nation population. African American, the so-called blacks, Latino, the so-called blacks. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. We only made up how much of the population here? 13%. Only 13%. Only 13%. But constitute 28% of all arrests. Okay, from all the 100% arrests that be made in America, just black people, even though we made up only 13%, 28% of all the arrests are black people, so-called blacks. Okay? It's a 40% of the incarcerated, right? So, listen, almost half of the incarcerated population here in America is already black. It's just only the so-called Negro or the so-called blacks or the so-called Nigerian, thing like that. It's a 40% of the incarcerated and 42% of those on death row. Imagine that. You got 42% of the so-called black people on death row from the, my goodness, from all